You here and to wish all of you who celebrate Thanksgiving in the US a very happy Thanksgiving. In a few minutes, we're going to allow here and to predictions from Peter and some messages from Spirit from myself as our kind of welcoming you into this particular live stream today. And then we'll be getting to questions. Anybody who's come on gets to. And of course, if you're watching this on our live YouTube feed, you can either post questions there or follow the link to join into the Zoom Live if you wish. And Peter, you are lovely but muted.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for welcoming everybody in today. I'm so glad to be with you. Uh, Please know that if you stay around to the end, we're going to be doing a live awakening transmission. It's quite powerful and so wonderful. Stay for that. We've got questions from people you can ask in the chat on our live stream or with us right now. And so we'll tap into spirit and ask those. But before we begin, Tracy and I both talked to Spirit this morning. We've got a couple of messages we would like to share to welcome you into the holidays and Thanksgiving. Trace, what do you got? You're muted, Tracy. Do not mute yourself, okay? Tracy, unmute, please.
Yeah, sorry, honey. I had not finished
All
getting the
right,
live
never
stream
mind. Go
up and
ahead, just
active.
go into it. We don't need to explain the technical behind the scenes of a live stream. Just go into it.
Okay, so I asked who wanted to send in a channeled message today, and it was A1 Atlas. And A1 Atlas wanted me to share with you that it was like extraordinarily happy with how well received it felt. All the light codes and transmissions that it had sent out were being received, that really they found, in general, beings on Earth were at a higher frequency than they had anticipated when all of this sending of this technology had been planned for a certain period on Earth. And so that was all very exciting to hear. And they just wanted you to know that, depending where you're at, it can be like 2 to 6 months before you start truly experiencing the result of what these light codes were designed to do. But definitely you will begin to notice yourself having more intuition, starting to have more 5D skills and abilities. And they said, we really anticipate some major shakeups in old systems on your planet as you, as humanity, reach this next sort of up leveling of your energetic field. It's just going to cause some of these dysfunctional systems to really have huge breakdowns, and you can anticipate lots of change.
Beautiful. I want to add to that because what Spirit told me goes hand in hand. Uh, Next week, just before the end of the month, I'm going to be releasing the energy update forecast for December, and this is going to speak to that. Uh, November was really harsh because so much energy came through, not just 3i Atlas, but also the 1111 portal, and so much other energy came through. So a lot of people were just shaking. Oh. So that's going to ease up for the holidays. Okay. And then it's going to set us up for 2026 where there can be major transition. But this is the caveat that they wanted me to share with you. And that is that your attention and your focus is paramount for deciding the timeline you're going to be in. See, if you're still one of those people who are obsessed with conspiracy theory and what the government is hiding and when are the ETs going to show themselves and all that other stuff, if you're still on that plane, what you're going to get is more of that because your manifestation abilities have increased. Whereas if you just go, okay, I'm still attracted to all this stuff, but really what's going on is this beautiful thing I want to focus on, that's when you're going to see the changes. So if you're coming into it with this idea of, oh, when's it going to happen? It ain't going to happen. If you come into it with this idea of, I got to learn more and know about it and complain about it, it ain't going to happen. So this is the bifurcation is taking place, and that's going to be accelerated in 2026. All right, so that's what they wanted to say. Is Thanksgiving is the perfect opportunity for those of you in America who celebrate Thanksgiving. It's the perfect opportunity to be thankful and grateful for what you want to come and let go of all the rest. Okay, we're going to get into questions in just a couple of moments. Before you do, I want to tell you that, Tracy and I do this on YouTube, so your like and your subscribe really helps a lot. Please do that. And I want to invite Gerard. He's a beautiful man. I meant he lives in France. He actually has done a lot of work with Tracy and I, and he's on our website. You can actually book sessions if you want sessions in French or in European time zone. You can work with him one on one. So, Gerard, if you could unmute yourself and then please share what you've got going on with your contact with Spirit, any messages before we get into the Q&A.
Well, I'm still mostly channeling the Deveron Collective. Anyway, that's how they make me call them. And they are a group of Pleiadians. But to my surprise, this is about 2 weeks ago now, I also started channeling the dragons, or at least, I don't know who exactly, but they were a collective. And that was very powerful. I've also been channeling, well, my personal guide. And a group of angels once came through. I'm still discovering what else is possible, but I very strongly feel that whenever there's a true question, or when I have a client who has questions, then it really starts streaming. If I don't have specific questions living within myself, not so much is coming, and I'm not reaching out. I'm not inviting them.
Well, this is great to
But
know. First of all, you're a testament to what the process is like as you open up. You've gotten one collected that you've worked with for a long time. Now, all of a sudden, angels and dragons are showing up. And so you're starting to get out there. And it will be in my experience, it'll only be a short matter of time before you get to the place where you just hold conversations with them, whether then you just give them a question, they give you an answer. You can say, hey, what's up? And they will start telling you. So it's beautiful to see where you're at, Gerard. And this is inspiration, hopefully, for everybody watching, where you can go if you actually decide to let go of the density. That's the biggest thing holding you back. It's not learning how to channel, it's what I'm holding that prevents me from connecting and channeling.
I,
That's the biggest thing. So
yeah,
I
you're
wanted to add
testament to
on
that.
to what Gerard said, though, because I also found that if I just tried to just sit quietly and, okay, Spirit, I want to hear from you, especially initially when I was first trying to connect, it's too wide open-ended when you have a specific question, and especially if it's something you feel passionately about in your heart. Like for me, I was doing sessions and I just wanted to help people so much. So I really wanted the solution to come through for whatever it was they were facing. That was a much faster, quicker doorway to connect to spirit than just, okay, I want to hear what you have to say, or expecting them to tell me what to do or anything like that. So, very good point, Gerard,
yeah.
for people to understand.
And I have an example of that. I am writing my third book, and I was writing this chapter about Egypt because this beginning of this year I was in Egypt again, and I was also writing about the Hathors, or the Hathor, the goddess Hathor, and I've been in her temple in Dendera, and I had an experience there that was very beautiful. She told me, by the way, that I could also give. What would you do with your eyes? What are they, benedictions? How do you call them?
Good, Deeksha.
Blessings.
Good. Join us today, then. Join us
Yeah,
today.
I
Good.
will. Yeah. And but then I thought, my rational mind thought, okay, that was an Egyptian goddess, but is that a real entity? Did she exist, or how should I see that? And then immediately the answer came. They said it's actually a group of called the Hathors, and they were connected to the Egyptian goddess, or they are, and they're interdimensional beings, and they're like other beings from other, not from this planet, supporting humanity to to get to a better state of affairs is where we are now. It's a very beautiful answer, and I looked it up. I wanted to know what Tom Kenyon said about it. He is a person who works a lot with Hathors, and he said exactly the same. The Hathors told him exactly the same, and it's a beautiful thing to get such a confirmation. At least it is for the 3D mind.
Beautiful. Fantastic. I'm excited. Oh, good. We're gonna have a three-party sending today. That's
That's what
very
I got from them as well when I started communicating with them, and that they have come in other forms at other times as well, the same consciousness, but Hathor is the most known one to us.
beautiful. All right, let's move into the questions. You can post them in the chat if you're in the live Zoom meeting. If not, you can put them in the comments on the YouTube and we'll scan those and bring them up. I think, Steve, you came in with a couple. If you want to pick one of those and go ahead and ask it, and then ask whether you'd like Tracy or I to answer it or both of us.
Yes, hi, Peter, hi, Tracy. I guess both of you I'd like to answer on this or get your both of your outputs. One question I was wondering that I've seen in different channelers, they've either brought through, I guess specifically a couple of entities. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 channelers. They'll channel either Saint Germain or they'll channel Jesus. And when they bring either one of those entities to, they seem to always have different personalities coming through them, or the way they speak, like they're both just kind of like dry, or not so energetic compared to other entities that I've seen you or Tracy bring through, who their personalities or their consciousnesses, are really energized or low or strong, like as you were speaking about right now with the Hathors. And I was just kind of wondering why is this that, you would think like somebody like Jesus or Saint Germain would be more like strong or energetic or more, with the people, speaking more, I guess, in a humanistic type personality, and not so just, I don't know, real down or not too happy. Just kind of wondering why that is.
So let me start with this, and then Trace, if you want to, I'll bring you in here.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's a great question. You're starting to understand that different entities come across with different energetic frequencies. Okay. Now in 3D, we make the mistake of assuming that this is an identity. And that identity, as we see through their physical presentation, is, okay, uh, who that person is, and forgets that their consciousness is multidimensional and there's a lot of layers to it. And you could be looking at different aspects or different layers at any particular time and get that. I like watching that show, The Chosen. It makes me crazy that they keep only portraying certain tropes on how to present Jesus, but sometimes they have these little bits where he laughs with somebody or he like sits there and just does something human, and it's beautiful to see. Okay, so now why is it that many channelers don't present that aspect of the energy of the Christ when they're in the field of working with and speaking with Christ? Okay. I personally channel Jesus very infrequently because so many people will get their pitchforks out. All right. You can't do that. All right. And the reason they do that is because they have the unconscious belief this is the way it is. I was taught this. This dude sat there and suffered for me, and that's how it is. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, unconsciously, many channelers have that same set of beliefs working in the background. And what everybody doesn't understand is unless you're a full body channel where you step out and the other entity steps in, then the information is going to come through you. Therefore, it has to come through your nervous system and through your mental beliefs. And a lot of people just believe that Jesus is dour. All right. Tracy and I give blessings all the time through our eyes, right? We're going to do that today. And sometimes we'll just start laughing hysterically in the middle of it. And sometimes we have people come up to us afterwards and go, "That's so sacrilegious. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "We're getting out of the way and Christ is coming through us, or God is coming through." So we have no idea what it is that's there. Okay. Uh, but they're all upset. They're all upset that, oh no, you can't really say this is spiritual because their definition of spirituality cuts out joy. and stuff like that. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, heaven's been around for a long time, and we got all these myths and about, oh, it's everything is white and there's harp music and it's,
Yeah.
a lot of people believe that's spirituality, okay,
Mhm.
as opposed to being in a body spiritual. So bottom line, short answer is because the channel of Jesus comes through them, it has to come through their belief system, and their belief system has been enculturated such that it's got to be dour and stuff. Okay. Tracy, why don't you come in and add to this?
Yeah. So I definitely would have said what Peter said. And as well, I would add that, depending on how long somebody has been channeling and how free they feel within it, it can be a little bit representative of the fact that there's some efforting going on the part of the person to like hear the message and maybe trying to be very precise about, giving the information in the way that they understood it and heard it. And sometimes that kind of efforting can show up as, being very serious and a little bit dour and stuff. But absolutely, when I connect into Christ, I mean, he is a barrel of laughs. He can be really funny in his little what he says, and definitely the flavor of his love is very lighthearted and embracing. Not at all what I certainly was trained as a Catholic, judgmental and harsh and all that kind of stuff. No, when I've connected to him, he is just a delight.
Mhm. Mhm.
I want
Yeah.
to go
Go ahead.
ahead. No, I just want to add that I binge watch TV. It's what I do. I work real hard and during the day producing stuff, and at night I just click my mind off and say, "Feed me pablum," so I can just rest. Okay, so I binge watched this series called Mrs. Davis. And it's
Mm.
just the craziest thing I've ever seen. It just cracked me up constantly. And the one of the many crazy things was there's this nun who was having a physical love affair with Jesus, including orgasms and stuff like that. And how they portrayed all of it was pretty interesting. Okay, so it's like if you want some genre busting on presentations of Jesus, then this is one of them. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it was very eye-opening. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, just kind of what you were saying right there about basically what you were talking about, that TV program. And I saw a documentary thing on YouTube where they were discussing about the Shroud of Turin and all the technology they have now to break this down, and actually believing that, that was the cloth. And I've heard other channelers, people say too, that, well, like what you were saying right now, they said, well, he probably was, connected, or I mean, married to Mary Magdalene, and she wasn't what they portray her to be, and that maybe they did have offspring and their genetics continued on. And like you said, certain people I know who are really, really religious, or in that state, they do exactly what you said. Well, how can you say that? How can it? That's denying everything instead of being open-minded to maybe that is true.
Yeah,
And uh,
it's really your energetic frequency, okay? If the Christ consciousness is as expansive as we believe it is, that means it carries a lot of bandwidth and a lot of spectrum. So if you're only open to dourness, then of course you're going to get that. But if you're open to joy, then what are you going to get? That. And it really has to do with what you're open to, because we're talking about a great being with a lot of consciousness.
okay,
So we'll get back if you got other questions, Steve, in a few moments. But
all right.
Maria, you please, could you unmute yourself? I'm going to spotlight you here and then go ahead and ask your question. I'm not hearing you. You're still muted. You need to unmute yourself.
I am unmuted.
There you are.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Nice to be here. So my question is more about like inner work. So, so something I'm struggling with at the moment, and I just want to try and get my head around it. So the more conscious you become, the more you go, oh my God, I really fucked up over there, and I made some mistakes here, there, and everywhere. And so let's say I've made some mistakes with my children and I'm very aware of it now, but I can't do anything now because it's happened and they're growing up. But knowing what happened, let's say in my life, how it affected me, I'm like, I can't do anything now. Is there anything that you can do? Because I'm obviously carrying that unforgiveness part of myself. Is there anything that one can do to travel back in time? I know it sounds crazy, but to like travel back in time and in your imagination, make it in a different way that will help them? Or is it just their lesson?
So I got a really good answer, but I know Tracy does too. So Trace, you go first, okay?
Okay. Since I'm the one who's been a mom.
Yay!
Um, okay, so two things I want to make sure to say is one is part of getting into higher consciousness is going into the understanding that everyone is doing the best they can in every given moment. So, given your level of consciousness you had, whatever age your kids were, you were giving them the best you could, right? So, to move yourself out of guilt, out of whatever. Now, awareness is a beautiful thing. Wow, I'm very aware that what I did caused my children hurt. And what, I have found with parents and children is like it's never too late. Like they love to hear you acknowledge, I realize my behavior or my choices at that time really affected you. And I wish I had a magic wand and could make it like this instead and say what you wish you had said or done for them or something. It can be very healing to have a redo, even if it's in the present moment about something that happened, years ago. And one aspect of that is, you know, our human minds believe in time and then it's linear. But when you, in a now moment, shift something, change it, change your intent, change what you wanted to happen, it affects backward and forward in time. So it absolutely is something you can do now, and it will help heal the past and any future effects that might have had on them and how they might exist in the world or think about the world.
Let me jump in there because this is beautiful what Tracy is saying. Uh, but I want to give you the how to. She's given you the mental understanding of what the process is. I want to give you the how to. Okay. So spend a few minutes in contemplation of what you did. Don't justify it or nothing. Just laundry list what you did and how you felt about it. And of course, guilt and shame are on that list, but also the energetic that was going on at the time. Were you angry? Were you whatever? Put that down. That's super important. Okay. So what you did and what the energetic, especially the emotional part. Okay. Then you flip the script and you sit there and say, what did my children feel at this time? And you just kind of tap into the field and say, oh, they were feeling this or that, or they were angry back at me. Okay. And all that other stuff there. Then you do it a second time. Okay. All right. And you don't do it on what you did to them. You look at what did they do to you? See, everybody thinks, oh, I'm the mom and I'm just going to do all this good service. No, no, no. Some kids are real assholes. And sometimes just by being a kid, they do something really terrible and it hurts you. Now, you still love them because you're their mom, but you can't bypass the hurt. Okay. So once you got this list all made out, then you clear it. And clearing is not getting rid of shit. That's all mental. Fully express what was there. So you go back in, hold spirit's hand while you do this. Do not do it alone. Okay. You go back in and you go back to that point in time and go, okay, this is what I did and I felt this. Ah! That's clearing. You give it full expression of the guilt, of the shame, not just mental guilt, shame loops, but what does guilt and shame look and sound like? Okay. Then you go for the part, what did they feel? And you surrogate for them. Okay. And you say, okay, they were feeling hurt. Let me cry for them now. And you just do the crying and let the feeling come through you. Then you go through the third part of what the hell did they do to me? And how did I feel? And you express all that. Once that field is clear, okay, because anything fully expressed turns to bliss. That's what a clearing is. Then you say, okay, divine auspicious qualities, give me the good stuff now. Now, if you want to, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. Great, ask for that, but that limits you. Okay, divine, you know what's going on here. You know the consciousness of everybody involved. Auspicious qualities to all of us now, please. And then see yourself filled with that golden light and filled with it. Okay. Now, if you do this, weird shit's gonna happen. It's not like you go back in time and fix it, because, like Tracy was saying, there's not a singular timeline. What happens is you access a different timeline where that no longer happened because the energy is no longer there. Now, we've done a process like this in a group once, and it was so hilarious. I was teaching this, and this lady, beautiful lady, stands up right after the process is done. And says, my daughter, who hasn't spoken to me in 5 years, texted me in the middle of this process. I've done processes like this with family members, and I'll talk to them about something that went on, and they'll have no memory of it. All right. Now, at first, I didn't understand. I was like, well, you did this to me, and I think, no, no, no. But since I cleared the energy, I had no attachment to memorizing it. I didn't need to tell the story anymore. So what happened is they flipped to a timeline where that was no longer the case. So your kids will be different. You'll be different. Like Tracy said, it'll affect generations backwards and forwards. So you understand how this process is done.
Mhm.
If you need help, book a session with us. By the way, those of you watching, Tracy and I and Gerard give sessions by donation. BecomingAwesome.one. You can get help with this stuff if you need somebody to walk with you to guide you through it. But that's the basic outline. So, Maria, do you want to comment on any of that?
No, that's been really helpful because I don't know what's been going on recently, but things are coming up, and I feel like I've been trying to figure out things, and I'm like, I really need to start forgiving myself, but I'm holding on to it because I know I've affected other people. So it's like, okay, you'll feel so much better if you can understand what you got to do. So then it's easier for you to forgive yourself. Because it's weighing down on me. So I
Right.
don't know why, but it's coming up a lot at the moment.
Of
And it's
course,
like,
it's weighing down on you. That's the nature of guilt and shame. So you
yeah.
fully express the guilt and shame. Then you have to become your own parent and love yourself. Not just, oh, I did the best I could. That's great after the fact. But more than that, it's like, oh my God, I was a mom. I raised them, and I certainly pounded them really hard right there. And love yourself for that moment of doing what you did then. That's when true forgiveness is. And that's when you become a master of your mind instead of a slave to mind. Oh, the thought of guilt and shame is cycling what it always does. Lower mind is repetitive, negative, and destructive. It's doing it, it's doing it, it's doing it. Okay? You acknowledge it, and then you go in and say, I'm going to love myself in this moment for doing that. Not, I did the best I could. I love myself for doing that. I love who I am. I love this whole interaction. I love my kids. And that can take place because you fertilized the soil. You broke up all the dark clots that were holding it all tight, okay, by fully expressing the emotion that was there. All right. And so that's it. So you're going to do some mental work. All right. And that is just deciding that you are this person who loves yourself and has these beautiful kids, that you did these things that, you know, at a certain point, I've done this with Trace, I've done it with friends and family. You get together and you just start laughing your ass off. Oh, I did that. Yeah. And then you did this. Okay. But, and that's because you fully expressed it and done the mental work. And therefore, you're in the new timeline.
Mhm.
And it literally is the wisdom of your soul knowing I have to release these densities to get where I want to go, right? This human self wants to get to. And so when it comes up, you can just be like, oh, goody, here's another thing that I know I need to clear. Yay, let me just dive in there and go ahead and take care of this one. Can't wait to see how light I am on the other side, right? Just rejoice, celebrate. It's come up. I have awareness now. I know what the next step is.
And if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, I mean, deep down the rabbit hole, Okay. You really want to go there. At a certain point, when you do your clearing work, you're going to understand that your kids came to you in this lifetime because you both decided that you were perfect for you doing whatever you did to trigger them and they doing whatever they did to clear. For all you know, all this guilt you've been beating yourself up with was a gift you decided to take on karmically to heal them. For all you know, but you don't know that yet because you're still in the mental cycle of the guilt and shame. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, and yeah, so when you get to this level of clearing and you can start to see all the energies in play and the timelines you're shifting through, then it's like, oh, yeah. I used to watch that TV show Monk, and he had this one tagline which was so stupid, and I loved him. You're going to thank me later for this. So, Maria, they're going to thank you later.
Thank you.
All right. Who else has another question here?
Well,
Please,
oh,
Steve.
sorry.
Oh, no,
Steve, go.
Gerard, go
Oh,
ahead.
George, go ahead, Gerard.
Gerard,
I
then
was
it's
going
Steve.
to say something about what Maria said, because
Please.
I had a hard time with my mother when I was younger. It's actually a very good lady. She's no longer in the body now, so she's a beautiful woman. I respect her a lot. But I had a hard time with her when I was younger. And then I had a life between life session, and I saw her in this other realm, even though she was still incarnated. And I understood this was a soul contract, that she was actually doing a lot of good things for me by giving me a hard time, and that I grew a lot spiritually and personally because of her influence. That on the surface was difficult, but it made me a much more aware and, I guess, a more beautiful person in the end. So when she died, just before she died, she told me, or she asked, no, she told me, "Oh, I haven't always been nice to you." She said that shortly before she died. And I, from the bottom of my heart, I said, "Oh, Mom, it's perfectly all right." That's what I wanted to share. Um, Here we go.
That's just beautiful, Gerard. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, Steve, go to your next question, please.
Well, yeah, it's incidentally what the next question was is actually has something to do with what we're talking about right here. And when we're saying about, what she was saying, Maria, about like, well, to get over that and release that, and you say, to go into this time of where it doesn't exist or it didn't, happen or it's not there anymore. This is kind of what I was wondering. That my question was, is like, okay, like, well, they say we have ancestral and we have genetic karma, and that I guess they're just lessons. It's just like when we're here, it's part of the learning the polarities of negative and positive and what we go through to experience as this personality and take back with us to our big self or whatever, and what we've learned. But what I'm wondering, like, where I know it's been in the I've seen in the books of Conversations with God, where Neil Donald Walsh says that God says, well, there's no right or wrong. It just is what it is that you're experiencing, that he doesn't judge and that nothing's bad or good. It's just whatever you're experiencing. So if there's no right or wrong or bad or good, and it's just all experiencing, then why does ancestral or genetic karma continue or go over to where, like, there's like what he was saying, Gerard, about, oh well, you make these agreements when you're together, saying, okay, well, in this lifetime I'm going to be the bad guy and you're going to learn this and this and that, and maybe this person gets killed or this and that, all these different things. So if it doesn't exist, right or wrong, then what is actually the purpose of all of the the polarity of the back and forth thing, and why would you have to say, okay, well, the next time I'm gonna be the person to balance this karma out for what they did and this and that, if there is no right or wrong? That's kind of the part where I'm like, why?
Great
long
question.
long question. Sorry,
Great
Peter.
question. And I want
Yeah.
to get into that because it's beautiful. All right. So, first of all, I want you to imagine a couple of things before I get to the answer. Okay. The first is, let's say you're a high level mathematician. Okay.
Mm.
And you're only allowed to use English words and letters, no symbols or numbers to express your math. Could you do
Mm.
it? Okay, now we are multidimensional souls. All right. We have decided to play the game of going into density, which has duality, to start to see what we can experience more of. Okay? That's the whole game. What can we experience more of? Because, like earlier, we said, oh, you go to the angel realm and it's all white and harps. It's not really that way, but you know the joke, okay? And so we want to do something different. All right. So we needed to get to that something different. We needed duality and we needed intensity, particularly of emotion. All right. So those are the two things to imagine going on. Now, frame your question in that light. Okay. So there's no right and wrong because what exists is focus. Now, we don't have good words for that in our language. So we use words like soul contract or karma or all this other shit. No, no, no. It's simply focus. And what determines the focus? Energetic density. Because we're in 3D and we decided to play the Earth game, the dimensions are collapsed, the frequencies are collapsed, and whatever we focus on becomes our reality. That's why we have physical reality around us instead of just airy fairy stuff like that, okay? And it is our focus that creates that. Now, with that ability to focus and goes dense comes the whole duality of right and wrong and this and that and contract and growing and stuff like that. No, 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 no. We just don't have the words, the new words to describe it yet, which is what Tracy and I are working with in our books and in our teachings and stuff like that. And that is that your soul group, your lineage, had certain things happen. The densities were not fully expressed. Anything fully expressed turns to bliss. So, therefore, there was a magnetic attraction to bring more experience to it in an opportunity to break it loose. And then we get all clever in our minds and say, oh, that was a soul contract. It wasn't like that. It was just the focus was on it because of the energy not being moved. It was stuck. Remember how thoughts go over in your head over and over and over, lower mind, repetitive, negative, destructive. That's the nature of the frequency. Okay. So the whole growth is understanding I'm a multidimensional God source being, and therefore I can connect to entities or any frequency or any reality that I choose. And right now I have unknowingly, unconsciously focused on this reality and it's causing me pain. Now, what's the causing me pain part? It's a feedback system. We didn't go into this just thinking we're going to go into it and not feel anything. No, no, no. We needed a feedback system to know when we are in alignment with our truth and our source so we can have all that multidimensional frequency and have the experience of being in 3D with the physicality of it, which is the whole point of Ascension. The experiment, the Earth experiment, is to merge that, okay? Never been done in the galaxy before, okay? So the point is, you have the awareness that you are this multidimensional entity. And to be guided within the 3D frequency, you have your emotional truth. Oh, this doesn't feel right. That's not mental right or wrong, this or that. It's just, I'm not in alignment with something here. Let me fully express it, move the emotions out. That will open me back up to source. Then I can bring the correct alignment in. The whole question is not is there right and wrong. The whole question is, am I true in my alignment with my divine? Okay. And once you get to that understanding, then it doesn't matter whether it's this set of rules or these sins or this one. It's like I love religion. Oh my God, it's so complicated. I'm learning that there's like certain religions you have to follow these 700 laws or else you're a sinner and go to hell. And other ones you have to do these things until you don't, because if you ate meat on Friday before it was hell, but now it's only limbo, now it's only okay. All right. So it's like I just love all that stuff, all right, depending on your religion and your rules. Okay. But the whole point is that's this mentality trying to understand it. And in a nutshell, it's what you said. There's no right and wrong. All right. And you go, okay, well, if there's no right and wrong, why am I repeating this? Why is my lineage involved in it? And because that's the focus. And that focus is there by the guidance system, the internal guidance system of anything fully expressed turns to bliss, you're in source. Something is unexpressed here. Let me address it. And because we're in 3D, the way you address that is with your sound and movement and emotions. Then you get into alignment and then you make whatever choices you make. And in reality, you also flip timelines. Because, like we were talking about with Maria, you then go to a timeline where those problems are no longer there because there's no longer the density. Was
Mhm.
that trippy enough for you?
Yeah, it makes sense. Just, I mean, it's just like when they said, they say, okay, well, the the genetic or the the family lineage thing. I just wonder, well, like what you were saying, well, that why does it just keep continuing and people go different soul groups, soul families, and people play different roles, then why does it keep playing out if, like you said, you can clear that stuff while you're here and you don't have to go through the life review? Then what is the purpose of it keep continuing instead of you advancing and maybe saying, okay, well, I'm not, I'm done with the earth plane and all that, and I'm going to go to something different, more higher, more more advanced as far as feeling wise, or um learning some other types of, I guess, growth
Peter,
in
I'd
being
like to
here.
answer that
I
part.
know. I was just waiting for you, Trace, because Tracy has done a lot of lineage clearing. So beautiful. Okay. So,
Yeah.
Tracy, come in now, please.
Yeah. So, um, when I would be giving people sessions, often something their sacred higher self would share is like, yeah, they've agreed to do an ancestral clearing. And I was just like, I'm like, I don't get it. These
Hmm.
ancestors, they crossed over. They've probably reincarnated, numerous times. Why do we need to clear this? And so what they explained to me was we were going to work at two levels. One was if, especially if it was like a larger group of ancestors were somewhere that went through some kind of trauma together,
Hmm.
there's like an emotional poo that's left behind in the energetic atmosphere of Earth wherever they lived. And it's really that that bothers one thing about that bothers, when they cross over and they can see, man, everybody's still living there is being affected by this density that's hanging out. And so really these beings of love and light that come in to do ancestral clearing with me, they like steam cleaning these areas where the ancestors lived. The other piece, which is even more like difficult to understand with the brain they shared, was that somehow through the DNA, whatever the negative beliefs, fearful emotions, or whatever that those ancestors were going through are still like a little shadow energetic in all the living descendants, even many generations removed. So the other piece we're doing with that is we're clearing those densities out of their field so that they're just free to be authentically, what their soul wanted to do this lifetime without having to deal with that weight from their ancestors.
Hmm.
And there was one other piece I wanted to add into that had to do with what you were, talking about before, that, really Jesus was married to Mary. So as each one of these great embodied masters comes in, they're talking to people with a mindset that they've already developed during very dense times on Earth. And so for he was Yeshua, he was Jewish, right? And there was already an established Jewish religion that had 108 laws that you had to follow, all this stuff. Now there was a subsect of that Jesus was actually raised in called the Essenes. And the Essenes
Oh, yeah.
focused much more on the beautiful message of like love thy neighbor as thyself and all that. But because some of his apostles came out of that other mindset, when he treated Mary Magdalene equally, right? And, applauded her, like reading and learning things and being a spiritual master herself and teaching. The other apostles could not understand that, could not understand why when Christ resurrected, did he go to Mary Magdalene? I mean, some of them actually accused her of lying when she told them, he came to me after he resurrected, and here's what he wanted me to tell you, right? So people have these preconceived ideas already. And so when they hear the message of the master, they can't allow themselves to receive it correctly. And the same thing when I was working with people who had a lot of beliefs about karma, in their lives. And even I noticed this when I was in India, and I was always so curious about this. Like, is this a real thing? Do we need to have fear about this? And what is this? Even the notion of karma was tainted because humans at a certain point wanted to justify in India all the different caste systems, right? So we're going to teach people, oh, it's your karma to come in as this lower caste, and only if you don't complain and you fulfill on all these hideous chores that you're expected to do for your livelihood, then maybe you'll get enough karma to come back in, right? This is a way of keeping people disempowered and striated. I would say whatever teacher tried to teach about karma was really more trying to express that there are some universal principles, things like as within, so without. So if you just simply switch the word karma for a density, right? And so this ancestral clearing is a density. Whatever happened between you and your soul family that came in to play certain roles and agree to hurt each other certain ways in order to have each one learn is a density. They're all just densities that need to be cleared, and we don't really need to go into all these other fancy thinkings about it.
Mhm.
Clear the densities, you will be relieved, and you will move higher and higher in consciousness.
So
Just one
Steve, has your head
quick,
gone?
yeah,
Get
just one quick thing off of that one. When Tracy's saying about the densities, and I've heard like some people say that like when they cross back over, and they have their soul life review, and they're like, oh man, I could have did this better, I could have did that better, let me go back, I want to fix this, I want to redo this. So it goes back what she's saying, well, the karma or the densities, it goes back to where I'm saying, if there's no right or wrong, they're just lessons, then why are they so anxious to, I want to go back, I want to fix it? Why, if it doesn't matter, then what is the purpose of wanting to redo it, fix it?
So it's not lessons. Get rid of
Okay.
that whole thing. You're
Okay, cool.
not in
All right.
school. That's a bullshit analogy that's been put
Yeah,
on us. You're here to
so many.
live and play and learn, okay? So
Okay.
you had experiences. Part
Mhm.
of the experience is the reflection of it when you're no longer embodied, right? That's why I'm trying to say do your life review before you die, okay? So you
Right.
reflect on it, and at that point, you feel all the stuff you did not allow yourself to feel when you were incarnate. And
Hmm.
you still have your mind because you've only advanced so far, right? And so you interpret it as, oh, I screwed up. I did this wrong. Really, you're saying this doesn't feel right. And because you're more open and more connected to source, you realize this feeling keeps me from being with source, keeps me from being expanded and in the collective of the divine. Okay. So it's not let me go do it better. It's let me heal this.
Uh,
Okay. But then we go back through the cycle of forgetting and stuff like that. And that's why the ascension right now is so beautiful. This is an opportunity to clear all your karmas in one lifetime, right? And to not have to keep going through this game and to take care of it while you're alive so you can make these choices. That's what ascended beings do. What masters do is they choose when to incarnate, they choose where to incarnate, they choose what adventures they want to have along the way, i.e., what densities to bring in with me so I can help have this as a clearing.
okay, I got you.
Beautiful.
That's one thing I just want to say is that I appreciate about both of you guys as far as being teachers is that you really go into the detail of explaining and putting different perspectives, understanding this compared to a lot of channelers saying what you just corrected me on was, oh, these are teachings, the Ursa school, and we're here to learn. We're this, and hearing it from, like you said, from a learning perspective that, it's, I guess that's just kind of what people have been brought down to believe in saying, this is how it is, this, and that's what I appreciate about you guys, that you guys actually bring out a lot of the knowledge that people don't hear, or understand.
Thank you. You can praise me all day and I'll take it. Thank you so much for recognizing what we're trying to
Oh,
do here. Because
only
it's an uphill
speaking to,
battle with a lot
oh,
of consciousness out there. It's an uphill battle. Like, okay,
yeah.
like and subscribe to this video because the videos about doom and gloom and suffer your karma are going to get 1,000 times more views. Okay, do your work.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. So, Hannah, please go ahead and unmute yourself. And what do you have here?
Well, I came in at 1:11. Okay, so I am divinely meant to be here, and I think I missed one Q&A, and I went, oh, But I believe I was really divinely guided to be here, and I just love what I'm hearing because of the growth that I've been going through mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally with my healing. But today in church, I've been carrying this backpack back here. And I've been loading it up with everything that I'm carrying around, all this backpack of heavy stuff and letting it go. And today there was a beautiful meditation that led me into this beautiful mound of these colorful rocks. And they were the emotions and the things that had been holding me back. And they're no longer behind me that I'm carrying this backpack out here, but it's that I'm moving forward in the direction that I desire to go into. And I can make these choices of picking whatever size it is of this mound of rocks. And that I know that on the other side of that is where I'm going to find that door or whatever it is that by the end of this year, 2025, going into 2026, that I truly believe that everything that I desire to be or to look forward to is that I'm going to be able to leave behind what no longer serves me, but to have that door opening for me to be able to look forward to where I am in the moment, to be where I desire to be moving forward. And I don't, that was a sign that came to me today, Peter and Tracy, and because I've been looking at, I've never looked at doom and gloom or looked at myself as being a victim or always that I'm a warrior, that I'm moving forward. But this gave me a whole no, I'm no longer chiseling at that Buddha, that golden Buddha, to get it, or whatever that phrase was. But I just see everything that, where that, if it's a ledge that I'm supposed to leave off, or if it's that door that I'm supposed to open up to, I can really grasp it. And I believe that it's there.
That's so beautiful, Hannah. That is so beautiful. Tracy, do you want to comment on this?
No, thanks for sharing. Was
I
there
know it's
some other
inspiring. It's
question
just
about
inspiring what you did.
what happened for you?
Well, bus three. Bus three in Egypt,
That's right. That's what goes
with the
back to that.
Hathors and everybody,
Right. You
it's,
you
but
weren't online when Gerard was talking about the Hathor, so it's perfect.
okay. And that's why I'm really going to look forward to going back to the beginning of this. But I'm so blessed that I've been, I watched you and you saw me way back then. Yeah. But I just love how um, you bring up, I love watching you and clicking on and subscribe and liking everything, but it takes me to a different level of my growth.
Well, thank you. You're part of this field, so it's like it's not just a one-way thing. You're part of this field, and it's a pleasure to have your energy here. It uplifts quite beautifully. So we got time for one more question before we get into the transmission. If somebody's got a burning one, otherwise we'll go into the transmission. It's a beautiful discussion today, very deep stuff. Anybody really want to have a wrap-up question before we go in? All right.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
just while we're at this point, like we love like just great questions today, Steve and Maria, whatever. Thank you so much for bringing your questions and, you know, please invite other people into these, right? It's an open invite for anybody you know who you know is going through spiritual growth and has questions or whatever. Let them know about this. They're welcome to bring their questions, right? We just want to be here for people and help you all on your journey. So please invite.
Look at the pinned comment at the top of the discussion for the date and the link of uh, the next live Q&A you can participate in. Those of you who are watching this in real time, of course, that link is not up yet. So, but those of you who are watching this in the next few hours and few days, you can make a note and join us. All right. So we're going to move into a 3-part meditation. First, we're going to get into group consciousness, and this will be more strong. And then we're going to say a quick prayer, which I'm going to invite you all to participate in. And then Gerard, Tracy, and I will do an eye transmission for awakening. So Gerard, you're kind of joining in on this. Just ask your source that we want the frequency of awakening to come through. That's the quiet mind. That's the understanding of your being and totality of awareness in the moment. That frequency is what we want to upgrade people with, because you can send anything through your eyes. All right. And then you know how to do it. Get out of the way and they'll come through. Those of you watching during the first song we play, you're just going to look in our eyes and make whatever connection makes. And as we said earlier, when we're gone, anything can happen: laughter, music, crying, shaking, whatever. And then during the second song we play, you're just going to close your eyes and directly connect to the divine. We want you to be able to have that connection, not to rely on us as intermediaries. We're just opening the door and ushering you in during the first song. During the second song, you close your eyes and you go there directly to get whatever you're going to get. All right. Having said that, please welcome in your sacred higher self. She, he is always with you. But when you acknowledge their presence, the connection is stronger because you put your awareness on it. Now your team, your guides, your angels, anybody who you work with, you pray with. Now Source itself, whatever your name is, or the beautiful divine. Mother Earth, Gaia, invite her to be with us. Now, your ancestors that we talked about, they're all you. Both your physical lineage, your DNA, and all your past lives. Your whole soul group. Beautiful. Now our friends in the cosmos, the dimensional beings in the earth. Our ET brothers and sisters. The angelics. And if you know any particular light races you're connected with, you can call them by name. Arcturians, Andromedans, whoever you like to play with. And then your own personal gods and deities. If you have a connection with the Hathors, with Isis, with Kuan Yin, Buddha, Muhammad, all of them, bring them in. And now we put out an open call to all beings of high frequency and service to love and light. Any entities interested in our individual awakening, including all the viewers of this, we ask you to be here now and help transmit this energy to rise everyone up. And if you care to, please out loud repeat after me. I am my I am presence. And I am one with the I am presence of all humanity.
And I am one with the I am presence of all humanity.
Beautiful. I'm going to play a song that's going to go on for the next several minutes. And I want you to just use that opportunity to establish a oneness field. You're going to breathe from the central sun to your heart, and your heart to everyone viewing this video, no matter what the time or space is, because that doesn't matter to spirit. You're going to breathe from your heart to everyone viewing, everybody in this group right now, and all of the spirit team that we've invited. Breathe it in to your heart and then out to everybody. Start the central sun to you, get juiced up, and then start the in and out between you and spirit. So please begin that now. Feel the energy grow as you make that connection. Now, please join me in this prayer if you care to, or say your own prayer. Sweet Divine, thank you for making me closer to you. Thank you for opening up a full connection 24/7 with your consciousness, your love, your grace. Thank you for empowering me to grow in my abilities. Thank you. Now, during this next song, please go ahead and just look into Tracy, my, and Gerard's eyes. There's nothing you need to do. Just keep the connection open. Now close your eyes and receive directly from Source.
Ah Moksho nama jivasya vimuktihi ye tasmat indriyanam vimuktihi yettasmat ahankara vimuktihi yettasmat manaso vimuktihi yettasmat gatasya banta vimuktihi yettasmat samskrute bandhat vimuktihi yettasmat samajjasya bandhat vimuktihi yettasmat karmano bandhat vimuktihi iti satyam satyameva satyam iti satyam satyameva satyam iti satyam satyameva satyam
Please complete the experience with gratitude. Thank you for staying with us this long through the video. Check the first pinned comment for the date and the link to join in live at the next Q&A and blessing transmission. Help us out, please. Give this video a like and subscribe, and help your friends out when they start asking these deep questions. Everyone thinks, oh, it's just we take for granted karma and all some of the deep things we talked about today. Help share the message either with this video or with your own wisdom. Yeah, it'd be great. A like and subscribe will really, really help it. Remember, Tracy and I do give sessions by donation. And Gerard, you can go becomingawesome.one. And if you need a little help along your way. All right, you all stay blessed. Thank you so much.